Our time is dwindling.
It's 10-6, right?
10-6, yeah. Can you put up the last
I'll
one?
put it in a second.
Okay. 10-6. So you have the first turn piece.
First terrain. Clocks.
Oh, no, yeah. You can switch back to me.
You also do the first deployment. It's a
7 again. I have to click this way.
You start the first turn.
No, I have to first
Yeah. I want the second one.
Late warning. Guardians.
Yellow.
Excuse me? I'm starting from the yellow essence.
Yeah.
Let's start with Pandas.
And so I'm going to put repo session. Strike and fade on these guys. Actually, I'm going to medium defend. So the iron velocity on these guys, and then he's going to go here and plus one to hit on these guys.
Take a move action. They will leave the forest. I'll get a crate. And then they will move again.
Come at me.
Just go basically here. And here. Behind the forest.
Yeah, sure.
Then
Clint will go within one of the pig, as far ahead as possible, so there-ish, and then advance the pig. so that she can still reach. No, plus base, so the base is there, so it's another 1 inch from there. So it's 2 inches. Yes.
Yeah. The storm crawlers will.
And I get a yellow.
They have not the longer move, right?
No, no, they don't.
Basically somewhere here.
Very silent.
The cable disconnected for some. You just notched it. Hello, can you hear us? Oh yeah. So we again were silent, but now they can hear us.
So,
Oh yeah.
what was heard and what
don't know
was
what
what was it?
So let us know if you can hear us now. Yeah, I can hear us. All right.
All right. So now we have sound.
Yeah.
Perfect. It's been a long day.
Yeah, yeah. So we might record it afterwards and add it to the intro.
Okay. So far nothing was heard, or
Yeah, I think they couldn't hear us for the first 5-10 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah,
Now they hear us?
they can hear us now.
So should we start over?
Yeah, maybe not from the very beginning.
not from the beginning.
So
Okay,
just,
so to summarize what was lost to the sound gods, hello to my wife. Hope you're enjoying your first wargame stream. Andy and Daniel are playing a game of Shroudfall, which is a skirmisher that we started developing last year. They have already finished deploying and choosing the scenarios and are in the middle of the first turn. So what we mentioned before, the two factions are the Chosen of the Spirit Tree, which is a faction of giant pandas and red pandas on the right side, commanded by Daniel. And on the left side, the mighty Silver Line, the self-proclaimed defenders of humanity,
self-proclaimed. Okay.
want to keep order under the shroud. So far, players have chosen the scenarios and set up the terrain, which is both part of their army list, and they are now alternatingly activating the units. The goal of the game is to get a certain victory point lead to win the game by scenario, or after the 5th rounds, whoever leads in victory points wins. The two scenarios that are on the table are the mine mountains, the red crystals on the table. Yeah, exactly this one, which is your standard default control scenario. You have to put models next to the crystals to control them. Middle line is worth 1 victory point each if you manage to control the one at the back side of your opponent. 2 victory points. The second scenario are the boars. These are wild boars that you want to push them towards your enemy's deployment zone. So you score a point for each pig that is in your opponent's table half at the end of the turn.
So yeah, as we said that earlier, but you couldn't hear us, they're running around the table and damaging random models, and you want them on your opponent's side.
It's always a choice if you want to damage your model, because whenever you move the boar, when you decide on its final position, it deals damage to whatever is within 1 inch. But in order to push the boar, you have to be within 1 inch. So you have to make the decision: do you want to push it close to the opponent so that he gets damaged? But it will be easier to kick the pig back for him, because he doesn't have to move in counter.
Yeah. And as you said before, this is an alternating activations game, so one player activates a model or a unit,
Yes.
and then the other activates his.
Yes. We have small units, typically 2 or 3 models in a unit. We also have solo models and commander models in the game. Andy is now activating a unit of 5 models, which are goblins. I mean, they die easily, so there will be 3 models soon. What you see behind Daniel's models is the yellow and gray crystals at the moment. In Shroudfall we have a resource mechanic, the essence crystals, that power your abilities. So each set, each unit, maybe should we look at one of the unit cards?
Yeah, we can summon
What
a
are they
unit card.
doing now?
That's right.
They activate
Which unit would you like to summon?
right
Silverline
now?
or...
Yeah. Let's check the Silverland. Let's check
Okay.
this one.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, okay, the Guardian Brawlers. On the card you see the abilities that require essence crystals, either yellow or red ones. In this case, they have a very powerful ability, the Charge ability, which allows them to combine movement and attack in one single action. So basically you could do the Charge, which means make a move and combine this with an attack action, and then for your second action you could do another attack. So they are very slow, but if they reach the target, they can put down a
They
lot of attacks.
look like those guys could deal a lot of damage, right?
Oh, they are brawlers.
push, yeah.
Yes, and they push their enemies, or they move in like boxers.
All right. Let's get a top side view.
The resource is accumulated throughout the turn. So after each activation of a unit, you get resources, so you have to plan ahead what abilities you want to use. You can also spend these resources on rerolls or improve your dice, add additional dice to your roll. And one game design aspect that we always had in mind, there should never be enough essence to do everything that you want to do. So
Okay,
it will
yeah,
never
that's
be enough.
the better way, right?
So the goal was to always force you to make decisions, plan ahead, and as we know with alternating activation games, planning ahead can easily be ruined by your opponent.
Cool. Yeah. So let's take a closer look again here.
So first turn is usually much positioning.
So first turn, you mean activating every model once?
Yes, in a turn all the units are activated. When all the units have activated, then the turn ends, and you count victory points that were accumulated. Victory points are already collected in round one. So
really?
Yes.
Okay.
So you really have to move into the scenario. If you ignore it completely and your opponent goes full in on the scenario, he might not win it in the first round, but he will
Make
get
it
an
very,
advantage.
very hard.
Very, very hard to come back into the game.
So there is no like waiting time or no turn to...
No. The board is a bit smaller. We opted for a 36-inch board. For one reason, because it fits on the standard dinner table that many of us have at home when we're not playing at gaming venues, and you get
easier to ship as well.
Maybe. And you can get to the middle line without having a huge deployment zone that is not used.
Yeah, like a dead zone you never use.
Exactly.
So you have terrain all over the table, and all the parts are interesting in a way.
So first turn, yes, you start from the back, so there is not as much action as in the following turns. But as I said, you have to start interacting with the scenario. So we see here that the board has already been kicked once or twice. Now once, I think. I think the plan was for Daniel to. Can we zoom in?
Sorry, no, not this camera.
sorry.
I can zoom in only that camera.
Okay.
There's never enough cameras.
As with Essence.
So
So we have a top pick which is very hidden behind the Defiance, the big one. He pushed it once, and I think the plan was to have it just in range for his last activation, which is hiding here in the backfield, the lady with the halberd, which he wants to move up and push over the middle line to score points. It's very hard to comment as quickly as they're playing.
Oh yeah, it is. It's never enough time as Essence. So how long have you been developing this game?
We started last year. So basically, Daniel and I.
So I thought it's quite new then.
Yes, yeah. So for the 1 year, we are very happy with the current state. We have two factions for which we have released enough models that you can field different armies and try different playstyles. We have two commander models. We call them Essence Weavers because they weave the essence and powerful magic. for our first two factions. The third one, the Umbral Vale, is already completely playable by the rules. So the rules
it's a
are
complete faction?
on our webpage. It's a faction of, let's say, not evil, but maybe misguided or misunderstood scientists and
right.
their creations.
Oh, yeah. I've seen like an alchemist.
Alchemists and the monstrosities that they have
create.
been patching together, and so which are usually lurking in the sewers, but sometimes they get out. Which are unhappy with how the Silver Line is running things, and want to overthrow the establishment.
Apart from the game and its rules and models, you created the whole fantasy world that those models live in.
Which was the most difficult part, because often Daniel and I had very different views on how we want this world to
That's how it works.
And I didn't imagine it to be so much work, because for every sentence that you write, you need 10 sentences more information that you can't tell anyone. But you need to make up these inherent rules for the world, how to work to make it fit. For example, we have the goblins, which are basically... they're not treated very well.
Okay.
So some say they are kind of enslaved or prisoners or whatever. But so for me, it was always important that the weapons of the goblins is so bad that statistically, with a standard dice roll, they will not wound a Silverline soldier, because it wouldn't make sense if they were able to just kill the oppressors easily or wage war on them. So the armor needed to be good enough to withstand the standard goblin hit. The bombs are a different thing, but the standard weapon. So
is that a standard size of the game, or
this is the standard size of the game? We play 200 points, which is around 20-ish models. If you add more goblins to the list, it's going to be more. But usually it's around 20 models.
And tell me, what do those tokens mean?
Pardon?
What do those tokens mean here?
These tokens are not our official tokens. I asked them to use the acrylic ones that we just did. These are the essence tokens. Essence, and also if you zoom around the table, the three colors, gray, yellow, and red, are very prevalent in our widgets and for the abilities. Here he's using the correct tokens. These are the beautiful ones. So basically, each unit has an essence stat in the bottom right corner. So the bottom right corner, because in the end of the unit's activation, you can add this essence to your essence pool. And you can then use it to use a unit's abilities, or to improve dice rolls, to re-roll dice.
So let's discuss maybe those three colors you mentioned earlier, because I see that also measuring devices and tokens and dice have all different colors, right? So all is connected.
They all have the same colors. So for the movement widgets, it's the easiest. Gray is the weakest color of the three. So the small movement tool is gray, the medium one is yellow, and the large one is red. And the dice also have the same color, because if you want to add a dice, you spend one essence crystal and you get to add one dice of the same color to your dice roll. So the dice are different. The gray dice is basically dice 3 minus 1. The red dice is dice 3 plus 1, and the yellow one is about
so gray are the weakest?
Gray are the weakest, so red is the best.
Yeah, red is the best. Red is the fastest.
That's why the red movement widget is the longest to go faster.
Okay. So if it comes for the most relevant characteristic of different armies, so the chosen, the pandas, are oriented more over the nature and elementals and healing.
Do you want to know about fluff or about the gameplay? So from the fluff perspective, the chosen of the spirit, I have to start with the world. In that case. So we are playing in the kingdom of Astera, which is the last huge kingdom known to everybody because the whole kingdom is covered under an energy dome, which is called the Shroud.
All right.
And legend has it that years, hundreds and thousands of years ago, a god sacrificed himself to protect everybody with the Shroud from the horrors that are outside.
Okay.
And people have been living under the Shroud happily ever since. And also the Chosen, the giant pandas, the red pandas, we call them Ailur and Ayani.
Okay.
A racial name for them. They have been living under the Shroud very happily until one day there was a rip in the Shroud. And it has been so long that nobody really knows what is outside, what lies or what could try to come in. So this made people a bit anxious. And on the same day, not only the rip appeared, it's kind of healed itself within seconds, but there was this uncertainty in the air. And the Shroud, which is basically the manifestation of the god who sacrificed himself, stopped talking to his priests. And until then, they have been able to feed it easily with essence crystal energy, which could be kind of a battery reloaded. But since that day, the Shroud destroys the essence crystal that it uses for energy. So this resource, which was basically infinite energy for them to live a peaceful life, is now becoming scarcer and scarcer because the essence crystals are destroyed. And the Silver Lion is now requiring it has an increased amount of essence to feed the Shroud to protect everybody.
Okay.
The Chosen were until then living very peacefully in the spirit forest, but with everything going on have taken up arms and decided to fight for their own god, the spirit tree. Rules-wise, they are not very well armored. We have the red pandas, which are the magi of the faction, which bring. We have somewhere we have the storm callers on the side. They shoot lightning. They can summon thunderstorms on the battlefield. We have a red panda weaver. Here behind the house. Yeah. So they bring magic to the table, and the bears bring the melee power. Faction-wise, they are a bit tricky. They move stuff around. They like to push people out of scenario zones and control scenarios. The Silver Line, on the other hand, they are a trained military force. They are reliable. They have good armor. They can take a hit.
Okay. So it's interesting to see like an elemental army that is focused on nature and looks that great. And then you said those are, we call them conquistadors style?
Steampunk conquistadors. I really like the conquistador helmets, so we put them in there. And combined this with steampunk armor. The Silver Line has the standard infantry, which is tough enough. And they also have the bigger armored guys, the Guardian armor, which can even take more hits and is even more durable. So now, while we've been talking, they started fighting. So
I'll leave you for a second, so continue. You can describe what you see there, and I will get back in a second.
So I'm not exactly sure, but I think Daniel has just activated his commander and is punching Silver Line models next to him. The Essence Weaver that he is playing, the first servant of the Spirit Tree, is a melee-oriented commander who jumps over the battlefield, repositions your opponent's army, and then jumps back behind his own troops to stay safe and hopefully not be shot to pieces. So now Andy is apparently going to activate his commander, a huge dude in Guardian armor with a jump pack on his back. Commander Major Byron Kildare, who apparently is going to move up, then jump towards the boar, and I guess he's going to want to shoot stuff. What was important for us was to always have a clear board game state. So in Shroudfall, you can measure anything, anytime.
Yeah.
Also, the movement widgets have no.
I think the era of eyeballing distances in various games is long past us.
For me, it just makes it unclear. Also, the movement widgets first, they don't have any abstract sizes. It's 3-inch for the gray one, the small one, 5 for the medium one, and 7 for the long one. So this was a move and a jump which he measured before to make sure he can make it, and then he's going to kick the pick towards an enemy to score scenario points.
All right, let's hear what the players have to say. A little louder.
I think we missed the first
again.
dice rolls of the game.
6 with these guys.
We have already talked about the differently
then
colored
he
and the
will
different
pay
power
his
level of the
last
dice.
action.
Use 2 actions.
Yeah.
Combat in Shroudfall is relatively simple. On a unit card, maybe should we have a look at the brawler card once again? Or a different one?
2,
The clock was paused, I think, for a second. That's fine.
Should we have a look at the brawler card? Then I could explain how combat or hitting
Oh yeah.
and
That I was
destroying stuff
Guardian
works.
Brawlers.
Okay. So on the left side, you see the dice. Under melee, these are basically the dice that you roll to see if you hit something. In this case, 2 yellow die and 2 gray dice. You add the numbers together, and if you meet the opponent's defense, then you score a hit. These guys have a defense of 4, so they are not very hard to hit. When you hit, you do a damage roll, which is right under the Guardian Gauntlet, which means 4 yellow dice in this case. You try to meet the opponent's armor. In this case, if he would punch another brawler, he would have to meet the 7 to inflict 1 point of damage. You can also do multiple damage. If you reach the double of the armor, you do 2 points of damage. If you reach 3 times the armor, 3 points of damage. And so
So I guess it's difficult to one round a model, especially
the silver line.
brawlers.
Yes.
Okay.
The goblins are another thing.
Okay. And what
But
about
if you want to look at the Chosen, for example, the Stormcallers, they are hard to hit. They have a defense of 7,
Okay.
but only an armor of 3.
All right.
And if we have the
and how many wounds? Or do I
2
find
wounds each. Standard
okay.
infantry model has 2 wounds in our system, so humans and red pandas. Goblins are too small; they only have 1.
Yeah.
But here, if you roll a 6, that's enough to one-shot a Stormcaller.
Okay. And when you buy models, you include the cards, or you print themselves, or how does it work? For
The cards are available for downloads.
Okay, so all the rules
you
and
can,
all the
rules and all the cards are available on www.shroudfall.com. Also the scenario rules. We have STL files if you want to print your own movement widgets. One of our community members has uploaded a print file for the dice if you want to have the dice. We also have all of this in our shop, but basically you can find everything online to run a game of Shroudfall, to try it if you like
Yourself,
it. Because
yeah.
war games are different.
And so, what's the win condition?
The win condition is to have a lead in victory points.
Okay.
In this game, both score victory points for controlling the red crystals and for every pig that is on your opponent's table half. If you accumulate, we don't calculate the victory points, so we don't have, 21 to 22 or so final state. We just calculate the victory point lead. And if you reach a certain victory point lead, which depends on the scenarios that are being played, then you win. Otherwise, if there is no winner at the end of round 5, the one with the victory points lead wins.
Okay, so the one who has more just wins.
Yes.
Okay.
So, the thinking has to come through. No, there we go.
What?
How was it? I don't know, pausing or drinking or thinking.
Having a sip.
I thought the image froze.
Oh, no.
So,
Let's put it here. So if I check that correctly,
Obvious.
okay, that's explained it, and it just mentioned it's not easy, so apparently it's his turn.
One of the activations is
Can we move the camera so that we can see this board? Okay,
pressing of a matter. Yeah, good old.
yeah, the tracker.
the tracker, yeah.
Let's see.
So this is to.
I think it's
well, we've been
from
talking so
this-
much, so apparently we missed the round, the end of the first round.
Okay.
So-
here we have the tracker,
Yeah, and Daniel
and the
is
board is on
apparently.
the tracker.
We usually have a first player token, which they placed right behind it. First player in our game has a token. So basically, when you decide who goes first, you decide who goes first in each round. So the token switches at the end of the game. If I start the first round, I'm also going to start the third and the fifth round.
Okay, so yeah.
This has the issue of back-to-back activations. So you have, we originally had the problem that you could activate a unit. Your strongest unit you activated last, you move it right into the most dangerous position for your opponent because you know that you are going to start the next turn. Then you could activate that unit and do a lot of damage. This is not possible in Shroudfall anymore. The last unit that you activate gets a so-called exhausted token,
Okay.
so you cannot activate this unit
Yet
as
again.
the first one again.
Okay,
so
so
there is
no
time
double
for your
turns
opponent.
for
No double turns, no.
Perfect.
And also the essence you generate during a turn.
Hey Bartek, hey. Welcome. If you haven't been from the start, we are showing a demo game of Shroudfall, and shroudfall.com, that's the website where you can find all the details or the instructions, rules and cards and models as well.
Everything.
This is the game developed by Bernard and Daniel and Andy. Right. And we are having a demo game right now, and Bernard is talking about Shroudfall.
It's actually a full-size game, so and
Yeah,
they're
okay,
experienced
yeah.
veterans. So I think they're both competitive players, so there will be some kind of challenge to them.
I know Daniel for some years, and I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure, he is competitive.
I was with Daniel at the MCP WTC last
Oh
year.
yeah, I've heard, and you play second despite
Yeah,
not
we,
playing at all, almost.
we didn't expect it, but it was a
You
fun.
were the
It was,
Austrian Inquisition that nobody expected.
yes, exactly. No, it was a really fun event. It was. We missed these events.
Yeah, because of the-
It's great to see them return, as was Rheincon here.
See, there are the original tokens now.
There, finally, they used it.
Oh,
No. These are the goblins. I really like the models for those because we designed them with Silverline armor pieces that are so destroyed that the Silverline isn't going to use them anymore. So they're using scrap parts of the armor as helmets, as shields, whatever.
Okay.
We have the goblin lady who has a bustier that is made of kneecap armor. So.
and I wanted to ask, do you sell the terrain as in boxes, or is it possible
question.
or not yet, or
Terrain. Well,
because as you said earlier, terrain is part of your list.
yes, terrain is part of the list. Personally, I really like the look of 3D terrain, but I understand that gamers sometimes prefer 2D terrain because it's just easier to navigate
Measure,
models and
yeah.
then measure and everything. So the approach that we are taking is, since the terrain is part of your army list, it's very important that the footprint of terrain is the same. I remember in the good old days when I played Warhammer Fantasy, and there was the Wood Elf player who brought his, 20-inch forest. Didn't make it too much fun. And we have the templates on our site available. We are currently in the process of finalizing these templates also with art on it.
Okay.
So we have some shots of this already running in our presentation in the background. But I don't think we have the assets prepared to show them here.
I see.
So you will in a few days be able to print out beautiful templates for games at home. We also want to provide them as cardboard because it's just a little bit more durable. together with the tokens, for which we now have all the assets and we are going to produce. And the third option is we have the STL files for the terrain available on our Cults account.
Okay, yeah.
Which we
because
noticed
actually, I like really those stone obelisks and the forests and
the stone obelisks and the rock terrain, they are already available online. For the rubble patches, we have included different variants because personally I like it if the terrain is a bit larger and has as a 3D component.
Where has it all started? Like, how you came to sculpting your models, etc. I remember you sculpting a replacement models for War Machine, the World War you did.
Yeah,
it was a long time ago, right?
I was absolutely terrible when with green stuff.
Yeah.
And even now, I still can't get the consistency to it. It's just not my medium. But during COVID, I picked up 3D sculpting a bit, and it started with a few bits like bolters for Marines and stuff. And eventually it became more and more complex. I sculpted a few of the Shroudfall models, so absolutely not all of them. We are working with, at the moment, it's 3 sculptors.
Yeah.
And all the models, yes, are approved and finalized by me, but I couldn't do the quality of work that they produce. So, for example, we have the first servant is a great model. We have the Beastbane Bruiser, our newest.
What about a Fire Servant?
Yeah, that's this one. I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
And there were a few
Totally
iterations to have him look like this, the position of the feet and the dragon, so that it looks cool and is good, well playable.
And since you couldn't hear us at the beginning, a big shout out to Bernard's family watching us, maybe now.
Couldn't they hear us twice? I don't know if you're still watching, but if you are, hello.
Hello. Let's get back to the game. So, what's this state? So, Daniel has 2 points, and what does... This is the points you get for controlling the essence.
For controlling the crystals and for shoving boars to
and shoving boars to your opponent. Okay.
So you have to keep an eye on both scenarios. The scenarios each have a separate victory point tracker or counter, and you basically add them up to determine how high the lead in victory points should be to win the game.
So still on the 12.
Okay. And we see the dice being used, the original dice being used. So yellow, gray are the weakest ones, yellow are the medium ones, and the red are the strongest.
Exactly. If you think that you are not going to make a dice roll, you can always add an additional die, 1 per roll, by spending essence. I spend a red essence, I get a red die to the hit or damage roll. I spend a grey one, I get the grey one.
So improve your rolls.
Yes,
you do not have to rely only on your dice rolls.
So the way the dice roll, the complete dice roll procedure in the longest possible sequence works is you roll the dice. Also before you decide if you want to infuse the dice or if you want to add one, then you roll the dice. Then you decide, is this a dice roll worth using or not? You can also spend a crystal of any choice to make a complete reroll. You take the same amount of dice, the same colors of dice, and reroll.
Okay.
So this is to just have, we all have been there when we whiffed this one important roll. So yes, if you have the resources, you get a second chance at try. There are some dice modifications which occur after that. There are abilities which force your opponent to re-roll 1 or more die. So basically you look at this and okay, you roll a 3 here, I want you to re-roll this one. And of course there are also some beneficial rerolls. For example, Commander Byron has an ability where his whole army, if they moved, they can re-roll 1 blank in each hit and damage roll.
Okay. So there's a way also to re-rolling blanks and all that. So I just heard the players saying that, oh, I hate this scenario. So I suppose something went wrong and the board went the wrong way.
That's their own fault. You pick 3 scenarios, your opponent picks 3 scenarios.
Yeah.
During the setup, you veto one of the scenarios of your opponent. So if there is a scenario you absolutely do not want to play, you can veto it. But to be honest, I think they rigged it a bit for us to prepare better.
That's quite probable.
So you usually bring scenarios that your army is good at, and have a chance to avoid the one scenario that you really do not like.
Yeah.
For example, if one
So
scenario...
what do you? Yeah. So what do you have? You have boars running around the map.
We have different types of scenarios. We have control scenarios, which where you have to control or contest zones. We have a scenario where there's a big dragon in the middle of the board.
Okay.
And whoever deals more damage to him gains victory points. But the player who does not gain the victory points from the dragon gets to make a fire breath attack and gets to place the dragon. So you get VP, but you're punished. You get attacked, and the other player can position the dragon in his favor a bit. We have the boars. We have the skunk scenario, where basically the armies are trying to deploy skunks on the opponent's table half.
I like those scenarios, with skunks and boars running. I'm looking forward to see scenarios.
These are
with
the most
Bobber.
fun to look at.
Yeah.
Scenarios in our game are here to also draw attacks or to use up actions.
So you have to deal with the scenario and with the opponent.
Yes, it takes a bit of the killing power of the army. It makes troops like goblins valuable for scenario, because you don't expect combat and stuff from them and hitting and killing them. But for controlling or running around the backfield and causing problems or kicking boars, they are very, very good.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of different, strength of models, how do you build your list? This is the list for 200 points, right?
This is a list for 200 points,
okay.
Yes.
And so what? The units they have obviously a cost?
Yes, the units have a cost. At the moment, we do not have terrain that has a cost, but we plan to add this in the future so that you can...
going to introduce
we are going to add this.
Like shrines or, I don't know, ponds,
shrines, burning forests that the pandas can push people in or stuff like that. Yes, you purchase units for points. You have to include at least one commander model. You can include multiples, but the commanders each have a very powerful leadership ability, and you can only select one to be active.
Okay.
So, for example, Andy has 2 commander models in his list. Major Byron, which he likes to play, and here we have Count Adam. They're sitting side by side.
The one with the jetpack.
The one with the jetpack is Byron, and next to him, standing is Count Adamant,
Conquistador with a cape and a spade.
Just actually the model that was modeled after him.
Okay.
In our first test game, when we first dared to show our game to somebody, we showed it to Andy, and he was totally in love with the Chosen and the Pandas. And he wrote us a message, and all the drive home, he was thinking about how he was going to paint his Pandas. And there was one model he absolutely hated. And this was a Silverline commander, and he he called him the Trash Man. So obviously we modeled this model after him and put his face on it.
Oh no!
Now he really loves him, and he likes playing him and enjoys his abilities.
I suppose it's if you cannot win, you have to join, and this is the way to join.
To be fair, he has gone through a few rules iterations until we were happy with him to release him, and ended up with the final rules. And the game has obviously also changed a bit since our first test game last year.
Yeah, obviously. So it's more than a year now in development.
Yes.
So you already have 2 factions? 3?
We plan to, let's start what we plan to have. In the end of the year, we want to have about 15 releases for all of our 4 factions, plus a few mercenary models.
Okay, yeah.
At the moment, we have 10 releases for the Silverline, which is enough to field different armies and playstyles. We have, I think, 9 for the Chosen. The release for next month is already prepared and ready. And for the Umbral Whale, the evil mad scientists and their experiments, we are just starting to catch up.
Okay.
One of our issues is that, Daniel and I were developing in our spare time, so time is a scarce resource.
Yeah.
And in the ideal world, everything should be ready at once. But we focused on these two factions so that we can show off games, that we have a little bit variety. And now we are pushing forward with the other factions. So the Umbral Whale has 3 releases slotted for this and next month. Then you will be able to put them on the table too. Maybe not an ideal build, but you will be able to play them as proxies if you want. So. For the 4th faction, we had Florian Stitz at Rheincon. Florian has done a few amazing concept art pieces, Count Adamant, for example. And we sat together with him today to finalize the look on the
sketching something,
factions.
and I asked him, "Oh, is it War Machine?" No, it's Shroudfall. So like, oh, okay.
Did he say this with this happy voice, or
Sorry?
Did he sound as happy as you did now? With,
Yeah, I think he was smiling and looking at your posters, so pointing at them. So I think he was happy.
The 4th faction, the Bloodthorn Lodge, is basically an evil force of nature. Our starting point was Chaos Heavy Metal Dryads, and this has since evolved a bit, and the look of the faction that we have now is very evil tree men, so not the forest that you want to spend.
Oh yeah, evil tree men. Okay. So like a Pandas nemesis.
Yes, exactly.
Nice. Okay. Let's maybe hear now what the players have said. We'll make them a little bit louder.
We still have to kill her.
So let's just activate Catherine, which is a
Things will
melee
happen.
solo.
I spent 1 red for the attack. So 4
spent
yellow
in
for the
essence.
guy with the frog.
So
3 yellow.
can we look at the card first?
Yeah.
Can I? If I press negotiate. Okay, that's the model that he has currently activated. She is a commander in faction. She can issue orders, and she is very good at killing and wounding stuff.
All right. And on the bottom of the card, I see melee 4 yellow dice, and then Gale's Edge. What's that?
Melee
Second.
is the dice that you need to hit the model. You have to beat or meet the opponent's defense, and under the Gale's Edge is the damage the weapon does, which has to meet or exceed the opponent's armor.
Okay. Okay.
So
Back
Daniel
in a
is,
second.
Daniel is currently running into a slight problem, apparently, from what I heard. He is running out of harmony units. The Chosen of the Spirit Tree have 2 types of units, either Discord or Harmony units, which is kind of a yin-yang mechanic. And he only gets his faction bonus if he manages to alternatingly activate Discord and Harmony units. So what Andy can do as his opponent to disrupt his game plan is to specifically try to target Harmony units, which he apparently has done. I see the Nerine Sentinels, which are at the red crystal that is closest to us. He still has them left. I don't see the Brewmaster anymore.
I will move with him here.
Yeah, sure.
So yeah, very many Discord units left, not many Harmony units, so he's going to not have his faction bonus for very much longer, or be able to use it effectively.
No, I will just piggy.
Yeah, just refreshing. Okay, so let's share this here. Oh.
Into the terrain.
So the
now
first
the-
servant has just done his
That's the first servant
that's the
moving,
first servant, and he's just as I mentioned, he's a very disruptive piece. He moved up, punched Andy's commander in the face, stunned him, and then moved back.
So that on the right side, on the left side, you see the stats, all the movement, defense,
Yes.
armor, and ability to hit and
And the
damage.
hit points.
Yeah, but on the right side, you see the
And
special
the right
abilities.
side are the abilities.
And I suppose those crystal symbols this is the cost you have to pay.
that you have to pay, exactly. The first one, like a leaf in the wind, is his leadership ability. He is a commander, the only one that Daniel has in his list, which basically grants a defensive bonus. Elusive is one of the dice manipulation methods I mentioned before. It basically, you can force your opponent for each hit die to reroll one die. Which is very nice, especially for the agile red pandas, because they are hard to hit anyway, and then when he forces you to reroll the highest die, makes it even trickier to hit them.
Where want to be engaged there?
And the Fury of the Spirit Dragon is the ability that he apparently just used, where he stuns his opponent.
So that's a condition, one of the
Stun
conditions.
is a condition, yes. You can target models individually and do damage individually to models when targeting a unit, so you don't shoot at the model, but you say, I use this model to attack this model. So you track damage separately for models. Conditions are very powerful because they always go on a full unit. The stun condition basically means that the targeted unit has to forfeit one of its two actions. When the unit activates, it can do two actions. The most default actions are a move or an attack. In this case, he is only going to have one action. Other conditions are you can set stuff on fire, you can freeze it, you can poison it. And this token stays on the unit until they spend an action to shake it. So you either have to live with it or...
So you have to sacrifice an action to shake the effect.
Yes, which doesn't make a sense for stun. So stun, once you have skipped or sacrificed the action, this condition goes away.
Yeah.
So basically you have to use your next action to shake it, which would be the correct wording in the rules. When they set you on fire, I mean, for the Guardian armor, this is not such a big deal. They can take a hit and maybe don't even get wounded. If you set red pandas on fire, they are not going to be very happy. I mean, who is if they're set on fire? So.
Okay. And I have a question also, because I was browsing through the cards. I've seen that there is the first side of the card, and there is a second. So
Yes,
are those double-sided or
yes.
additional abilities that couldn't
This
fit
is-
on one side? Or
This is true only for the commander cards. So the unit cards only have one side. The commanders are the most complex models, which have more abilities. So we have decided to make it on two sides because we still want to be able to read it.
oh, right. Yeah.
When you print it, you can do it double-sided, you can do separate cards, whichever you prefer. I think by default we will go by two separate cards because we would like to include some fluff on the backside of the card. And use this to tell
Or
a bit
in
of
like
the
a
story
nice
of the story.
art and
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, art is one of the... At the moment we have renders on our cards. For the Guardian Brawler that we have shown before, we already have the finished game art. Yeah, and it looks so much better.
Yeah.
So at the moment
Always
we have the
better when
Silverline
there's
and the
color on
Chosen
it.
playable. We are
That's-
making the Umbral Veil playable, and we are making it more beautiful. So this is the...
And that's the
current-
model shaped with face of Andy.
Yes, yes.
Then we have Blade Wardens.
Yes, the Blade Wardens are damage dealers. They are very mobile. They can jump, and yeah, when they hit stuff, it get hurts.
Then we have Riflemen.
The Riflemen are a very precise shooting unit, which only does blink damage, and not so they would have trouble hurting a Guardian. But against Pandas, the damage sums up quickly.
Then we have Guardian Brawlers. We discussed already.
Yes,
Defiance.
the Defiants are the tankiest models that are in the game. I mean, they are heavily armored. They have a big shield.
How many boxes do they have?
3. All Guardians. We have 3 types of Guardians. Andy has 2 of them in the list. The Defiants, which are the tanky ones, and the Brawlers, which deal damage. We also have the Guardian Lawbrings, which have a huge cannon that shoots AoE shots.
then
The Goblin Scouts,
goblins.
yes, these only have 1 wound each. They're not
And
very
only
durable.
grey dice on melee attacks.
Yes, and now we have initially the melee weapons was called Desperate Measures. Now it's improvised.
Desperate times requires desperate measures.
Exactly.
Then we have the hero, Catherine Stormbridge.
Captain Catherine, yes, she's a melee solo who
Looks
kills
like
stuff
a-
and
Clint,
tracks of hit.
that's a
Clint
that's
is
your mascot you have
that's-
as well.
yeah, we have him
printed in a bigger.
yes, everybody loves
showed
Clint.
Before.
He's a
But
mercenary. He's a mercenary who works for both factions. Has a very tragic backstory. The Red Pandas are all very magically attuned. Have huge magic talent. Clint doesn't, so absolutely none. Not a single spark of magic in him. But fortunately, he picked up 2 guns, and now he has found his true calling. And
Are those powered powder guns? or-
these are magic guns, and one of his ability also is called I cast gun, because this is his way.
I cast gun, yeah.
Yeah. So basically, when he critically hits an opponent with either of his guns,
So
he
critical
can-
hit is when you double the defense of the
Yes.
opponent
So
with your roll.
yes. So for the Defiance with a defense of 4, it's very easy to hit them. Relatively easy to have a crit on them. Clint on the other side with a defense of 7, it's hard to critically hit.
Yeah.
But if you hit him, here's.
Oh, and there are also faction rules,
Yes,
right?
yes. Each faction has a rule, has a card with a specific rule. For example, the Silver Line, all the Silver Line troops, so we're not speaking goblins, but the human
Humans,
soldiers
yeah.
have a rule called Silver Line Training, which allows them during the activation to re-roll a single dice roll, which makes them very reliable. It makes it less likely to fluff this one important roll that you really need. And Chain of Command and all the other rules basically say that you have commander models, which is Captain Catherine and your Essence Weavers mostly, who can at the start of the round issue orders that slightly improve your units. Again, only the Silverhand units, not the goblins.
And if it comes for the Chosen, so
Yeah.
the Fire Servant, as you said, is the most disturbs enemy, right?
Disturbs enemy. The other chosen leader that we have a model for is Nekari, which have we prepared them?
No, I don't
know.
have a.
Then-
I don't have a card.
Okay, then
Then we have Brewmasters, and I love the art and I love the models.
Yes, this is one of the art pieces where we learned that the correct process is to have a sketch, then the 3D model, and then the final card art. Because if you look closely, this is I call him a mutant. He has 5 toes. All of our other bears have 3 toes. And we had this the sketch, and we had it painted immediately because it looked good, and why not? What could happen? Nobody noticed. We had it sculpted. We had the sculpt, and then after the first few test prints, it's okay. He has 5 toes.
Yeah, lesson learned, but you can incorporate somehow this into a fluff.
No, I think we'll have to repaint
All
the
right.
fleet sometime.
I see. And tell me what's on the card on the left side. You have A
Yeah.
and B.
Yes, the Brewmaster is a solo model. We have a field allowance. Basically, you can include each unit that is not a character up to 4 times. The Brewmaster is a solo model that you can have twice in the list. This makes sense.
And this is
He
just the
buffs your
damage.
defenses. He
has
can throw
5
a barrier.
boxes.
So he has 6 boxes.
6.
And this is basically for 2 models. If you,
Yeah.
I mean, for the point cost for
So you
14
put the card in
points.
the foil and you mark it with a marker.
Yes,
Right.
exactly. So
Then Clint,
Yeah.
we already discussed.
Clint, yes.
Oh, and just quickly, what do they do? What's their
The
their trick?
Brewmaster, his trick is what you like to do is the another round ability, which basically grants another elusive dice to everything.
An elusive
in round.
dice is the defense.
Elusive is the same that the leadership ability from the first servant has. Opponent has to reroll 1 dice.
okay.
So now you're already at rerolling 2 dice, which makes it so you can do kind of a death skew build with the first servant, where you make it really, really hard to hit even basic defense models.
Then we have Razu.
Razo and Chaco are the Bear Brothers, which were named by members of a local Viennese community. They bring excessive violence to the table, and they do it well. With the charge ability, they can, in one action, make a move and then attack. They can shatter the opponent's armor. They kill stuff.
So for the charge, they have to pay action and 2 essence and yellow and
So
red essence.
we have the passive abilities, which are marked by P, which is basically they are always active. We have active abilities, and for active abilities you need to spend resources. Some abilities also require an action, which are typically very powerful abilities. There are also some abilities which have not A+, but A/, which means you can either spend an action or the resources.
Okay, so they are powerful melee.
That's it.
They are very powerful melee units.
Storm colors.
The storm colors are Red
Pandas.
Panda, Storm Sorcerers,
No, it's red.
which have some sort of chain lightning. They can summon a thunderstorm, which is a physical model that they put on the table, and everything that gets into the zone or that somebody pushes in the zone, which the faction can do
we've
very
seen
well. I'm not
storm
sure if
summon
it has
somewhere.
been placed at the moment. Yes, it has. Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah, so basically we were thinking about how we want to do area effects. And we all knew the templates, and we didn't really like the template because templates, it's sometimes difficult to measure, place.
Yeah,
and the moment where you move models in the area, end of the round, it is gone.
Okay, so you you chose to build another model.
Yes, it
for
is a
the
model,
effects
and
with the area of influence.
2 inches around, if you enter this area, you get zapped, you get damaged, which synergizes very nice with the chosen because they can push models. So you can summon the thunderstorm and then you can push models in.
Nice. Okay, and let's discuss the last remaining models we see here. So Syrian Sentinel.
Yes, they are very tanky unit, so they have 5 hitboxes each. They can heal themselves, they can distribute damage, so they are a scenario piece. They also count as two models for scenario purposes. So this plays right into the control scenarios that the Chosen like to play.
Then we have Serene Dragons.
The Serene Dragons are melee pandas. They can also shatter your armor, which is a condition which makes it easier to damage enemy models. They can jump around a bit, and they also hit quite hard.
And we also have faction rules.
The faction rules from the Spirit tiers are a little more complicated than for the Silver Line.
Okay.
There are 2 components.
So just general.
Just generally, all Panda units have an attuned ability. And to trigger the attuned ability, you have to alternatingly activate different types of units. So each unit either has a Discord or a Harmony tag, so everything that's very angry, like the Murder Bears, the brothers, for example, is a Discord unit. The Serene Sentinels, the chill dudes that like to sit in the scenario, are a Harmony unit. And if you manage to activate them alternatingly, then they get a bonus, then they get this attuned ability.
Nice.
This is what Daniel mentioned before, that he is slowly running out of Harmony units. So this makes it harder for him to keep his bonus. The other part of the faction ability has to do with forests. Whenever the Chosen enter a forest, they heal a point of damage. When they leave the forest, they gain a grey essence die, which they can use for reloads.
Yeah, I really like the idea of building up a synergy in your faction to when you're activating like defensive and offensive pieces one by one.
That's for me. That's the interesting part about the war. Is that the mind puzzles that start with list building. Where you think about what synergy, what
how many
ability,
how many harmony pieces and how many.
However you want. There's nothing stopping you from running a full Discord or a full Harmony list. But you are going to lose out on some.
Yeah, you're not going to get attuned with nature.
Only once in the game, so might not be the best chance.
So you cannot return back to it, or just the next round?
No, you have to. If you are in Discord, you have to activate a Discord unity to flip the token and to turn it to the Harmony side to get the token. I think again we have missed the end of the round. It was when they removed the thunderstorm manifestation.
Yeah, we saw that.
So I have no idea what we were talking so much and looking at the cards, so I have not been watching too much of the game.
it's
be
difficult
honest.
to explain how the
explain
game works and
yes.
just follow. We shall use this as a background to your.
And yeah, they're playing very clean, very quickly, so it's double hard to follow. Because 45 minutes were only on the death
but
clock for the stream.
Just look at the panda here. Oh my god.
I'm very happy with the chosen models.
Yeah, it's fantastic. But also the Silverline models, they look so steampunk on the one hand, and the other hand it's like, big shoulder pads, so like manga style as well.
A bit, yeah. So what I like
Then
about the
you have
Silverline...
conquistadors, steampunk conquistadors.
Well, they're one of these armies which really benefits from an army-wide unified paint job.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So for the chosen, you can do more different stuff. You have the Stormcallers, which have the lightning. You have the first servant with his dragon that he is summoning. So you can do a lot of different stuff. They both have gone pretty wild with their bases and base decoration. But the Silverline, for me, it's the military approach with the uniform and the colors, which makes them pop on a tabletop. And of course the yellow that Andy has used for his army helps it to pop.
Yeah.
Okay, so now he mentioned that he is Discord, so he's activating a Discord unit, but he's activating something that is behind the house, so hard to say.
Yeah.
So both get damaged?
That's a boar
So
for
he
now.
kicks the boar, and the boar is now between
On the other
the
side.
goblins and the rifleman, which means they are both going to receive damage.
And now they're dead because Goblin has one.
Goblin has one, and the
You can kill
rifleman
only
was
one
apparently
goblin
bad
per
at it.
unit.
Yeah.
I hope to
With this. Oopsie.
Still has a
And
second.
that's Daniel playing here.
That's Daniel, yes.
Yes. And that's Andy,
That's Andy, yes. The
the
reigning.
Conquistador captain.
Yes, he is the reigning Shroudfall World Champion.
Nice.
So when we had our first beta testers, we wanted to run a tournament late in 2023. The first tournament, we just called it the official Shroudfall World Championship. Because
Why not the universe?
But we had the first tournament. We had 8 players. Everyone had
Okay.
fun, and it was all players who started recently, but they managed to play the game fluently, and it was good. It was a good experience. The tournament scene in Austria is slowly starting, so our own goal is to host one tournament each quarter.
Yeah.
And for summer already, we had the first person outside of our development team who decided to host the Shroudfall tournament. Now at Rheincon we've talked with players from very different communities, so a lot of people in Germany. There are very possible future Shroudfall communities coming. We've talked with players from Barcelona. I remember talking to a guy from Poland.
You're talking to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we'll see where we are another year from now.
Yeah. We'll see. So let's get to the top view here. So Daniel is running low on clock, right?
Pardon?
That's Daniel's clock.
Yeah, Daniel's running very low on the clock. Could use normally we play with you 1 hour on the desk clock. Due to the stream issues, they have 15 minutes less, so this is very tight. But can we check the scenario
sure.
and the victory points tracker? Because I believe we missed the end of the second round, and I don't know who is in the lead.
Let me.
Because there are more boars on the Silverland side at the moment.
It's tough to say through the
the
models.
brewmaster is blocking
because
the view.
they moved the tracker outside the area of the game, so we cannot see it anymore with any other cameras. But that's okay. I think the tracker is somewhere in the middle. That's the third round for sure, because the strategy kind of broke.
It looks as if Daniel still has a slight lead, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, one shot, yeah, probably not. Where's he going? Like these two. And this one.
This.
This, yeah. Might actually do Byron now. Yeah, I'll do Byron.
No. No.
Who's good? And punch him.
No.
So the game is we focused on cards and on the world and rules in general. But the game, as you said, it seems very tight. They are fighting for the crystals, right? The crystals, they all...
Yes, they...
How do you control the scenario piece? You are there, but your opponent's not.
We have different types of scenarios. So there are the control scenarios where you just have to place more models next to them than the opponent. There are some models that count as 2, as the Serene Sentinels, which are the dedicated scenario pieces. Most models only count as 1. These are the control scenarios. We have the interact scenarios, where you actively have to spend essence or action to interact with them. The boars are an interact scenario. You have to spend an action to push them. We also have a scenario where you have to spend essence or an action to control a terrain piece, so your opponent can try to grab it from you and control stays. In this scenario, it's really who has positioned models next to the crystals to control them.
Okay. Plus the boars.
Plus the boars. 2 scenarios on the board each time, yes. Each from the army list of one of the players.
I'll go take a photo.
Sure.
I'll be back. I'll be back.
That's me. He is full? Yes, they're both full.
So the dragons are activated, which are a melee unit. They need to use the jump ability to place themselves in the scenario and get closer to the Defiants.
Then I will shatter it.
No, don't.
Shatter is another ability that basically breaks the opponent's armor and makes it easier to damage the Defiants. And now, first action is an attack action. So before, we've just talked about the Defiants and that they are the most tankiest model in the game. Daniel has just used his Serene Dragons to jump at them, to shatter their armor, to make it easier to wound. And Dan is now using his melee attacks to punch through the armor and hopefully remove at least one of them. Yes, apparently.
Yeah, we can.
I let the girl jump. I let the girl jump.
So it's apparently Andy running low on time.
Activator. Yes. Pressure.
So that's why he's rushing now.
Yeah, running through time.
I don't know. Maybe not. So I'll do a special.
So, whenever a model dies right to next to Catherine or in her vicinity, she can choose to avenge this model and jump forward into action, which costs essence to use this ability, but if you have it, you can do it. And it just did it, and is trying to make her whirlwind dance attack, which hits multiple models, as long as she damages. But with the low armor of the Pandas, this is a safe bet.
Yeah.
On this guy, so he's dead. He's on one. I did 3 to this guy.
Okay, damage discussion. So apparently Andy did damage. The Serene Sentinels have an ability where they can reduce the incoming damage by 1. But apparently he's still alive. And this is not ideal for Andy because the red crystal is the one where you just have to place models next to it to score. Andy has 2 models, Catherine and the Mighty Defiant. And it seems like Daniel also has 2 models, but one of them is the Serene Sentinels, and they have the Claim Ground 2 abilities that count as 2 models. So basically he is leading and controlling this scenario. And it doesn't look as if Andy has another model that he could use to securely capture the objective. He also has 2 boars on his table half. And in the backside I also see another boar behind the goblins. So this doesn't look... we'll see.
So with alternating activations, this game has the dynamic feeling,
Yes,
but still has the strategical depth in the scenario pieces and the way you activate. You alternate activations. I mean, for example, from the chosen player perspective, you have to activate Discord
your
and
own
Harmony
mini-game.
model in order to keep the attunability of the faction. So, yeah.
Yes, it's a mind puzzle. It's a complex game. We like thinking and planning ahead. The alternating activations have the advantage that you don't have a long downtime between your turns.
Yeah. So you don't sit and just watch.
Exactly. The tokens with the crossed bones are the activated tokens after the activity mark, which units have already activated. So, here's another Serene Dragon unit in the back next to Commander Byron, which is apparently it has a fire token next to him, which means that he's burning. This doesn't stop him from punching Byron in the face.
Second attack.
Yes.
1 damage. So he's on.
Yes.
But Byron is kind of durable, so he can take some punishment.
And you score too much. Maybe here. Big bang to your side.
And you have a Shroudfall Discord, right?
Yes, the link to the Shroudfall Discord is on our website as well.
Okay.
We already have over 100 people on the Discord there, and what I really enjoy is people start playing and painting our models. So
I'll get
was
the
great
link on
to
the
see.
chat. And let
You're more than welcome.
tell me if do you have a Facebook group?
Not yet. As mentioned, we are doing this as a two-person team, and social media is something that is. So we have prepared some social media channels, but managing them is a tough additional task. So we are saving that for later. What we're going to do this year is to travel to different communities and to different events to introduce Shroudfall to the world. And at some point in time, we will have to start actively with social media channels. And
So I will send an invitation here on chat, but I need to copy it in the computer.
No worries.
So sorry for the.
And I put up your because I can.
And that's also 1.
So let's hear players for a while.
Okay, so
for a second.
left. So our turn.
Yeah.
Oh, I actually have to pick now where I wanted to be. So how much do I score? I score 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Now this is contested.
Yeah.
This you score.
Yeah.
So I would score 3 points. That's not enough to win.
No, but
So
it will be tough. Velocity is gone. I put the aura here.
I can't have everything, that annoys me.
Okay, so here you go. That's an invitation to a Discord channel.
Yes, and are we still mute or are we?
No,
okay.
we're not.
Probably, yeah.
The Discord link is on our website as well. We try to upload all the rules changes there, the beta rules that we are currently testing, the rules that go live, everything, all the resources, and spoil the images of new miniatures.
Minus the range on ranged attacks. And
So again, we have no, the turn has not ended yet, but now is the scoring.
contest draw at 3. So I got a 4 points. Put it at 4th turn.
So Daniel is on 4 points at the moment.
Yellow.
So it's actually 0-4.
Yeah. Didn't they update it, or let me check?
The dead models.
So usually in Shroudfall you start a turn with 0 essence in your essence pool, but Daniel has units that have already been removed from the game. This is a huge disadvantage because units generate essence and you are 1 unit down again, so this punishes you twice. So as a kind of comeback mechanic, when a unit has been defeated or removed from a battle, you are allowed to add the essence it would generate at the start of the turn. Which means you have a potentially stronger activation because you already have essence to trigger some abilities or use them, but you're still down 1 or 2 units.
So yeah, normally players, as we said earlier, play 1 hour per player, and here it's only 45 minutes. But we'll see, because we are just approaching the end of that was round 4.
Yeah.
So
Personally, I think Andy is not going to be able to recover from the current board state. He already has.
Even if you don't have enough time.
In the back view, you have a board that 2 boards that he is. If he wants to reach them, he has to give up the control scenario, and he won't be able
so
to
he
push
cannot
both
kick
of
them
them
back over to the enemy board
yes. So
side.
they've broken through his lines. So unless he, I don't know, kills everything on the chosen side, it's going to be very, very tough for him.
2 points. So he's
If you kill an enemy commander, this is worth 3 victory points as well.
Okay, so it's not the game over, but
It's not a game over. So this is kind of disadvantage. If you bring 2 commanders, your opponent can potentially score more victory points in a round. But yeah, the abilities they bring to the table are worth the risk most of the time.
I think we still have some time, because all the War Machine games have already started, so we don't have to rush till the end. So
They're already hurrying through the activations. So one of our goals for Shroudfall was to be playable conveniently in 2 hours. Because we are family fathers, and we don't have too often time for playing 4 or 5 hour games. Yes. So including setup and everything, we aimed for a duration of 2 hours. Now it's shorter, which is why they're running into time issues. But with 15 more minutes, they would be able to end the game.
That's a commando training.
Yes, exactly.
You subtract 15 minutes from the clock.
They've been running demo games all weekend here at Rheincon, so they're...
And how was it going? I've seen you, because you're sitting across me in the room.
We have a lot of demo games. We have received very good feedback. So the people like the models, and the people who played the text game actually also liked the rules and how the game plays. So yeah, we are quite happy. We were invited to join the WTC maybe with another table. And who knows, next year at Rheincon we may host a Shroudfall tournament as well.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, that'll be great.
Thomas was already here with his army, which he has already based. Florian has produced some artwork for us, so yeah.
Might miss. Hits. He misses. Yeah. So we already missed, and I still managed.
So I also brought my PC with me to sculpt some models in the meantime, but so far there wasn't enough downtime. People were too interested in the game, so just show a few of the sculpts, but not sculpt.
Almost. That's actually good.
Okay, so Andy here is running out of time, but as we said before, we allow players to finish their games.
I'm clocked. How much is he left? 2-ish? 2.
So he's running into the overtime in the 15 minutes that he should actually have.
The negatives.
Okay. I think after this turn, Daniel is going to be ahead. You reset him his victory point.
I think it was reset because of the clock.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he is leading by 4 points. Daniel doesn't give up. He's shattered his opponent, which basically destroys his armor, makes him more vulnerable. Also infuses his dice roll to inflict multiple damage points on one attack. There's now punching Byron on his jetpack with the first servant, with his weaver, with his commander.
Then second round attacks. Last diffused damage. Or diffused damage.
We can't see the card, so I have no idea how many damage he has left.
Yeah, it's
Okay, it's apparently it's enough.
okay.
So that's 3 more victory points for Daniel.
For free.
So he is already 7 in the lead. So Andy would have to score. Oh no, I
Hell of a
don't
point.
think he can
Hell of a
recover.
point.
The 2 boars in the back, and no. I think that's it.
I really like the idea of boards being a piece of a scenario that have to kick on the enemy board's board side.
Personally, I also like the skunk scenario where you place the essence skunks on your opponent's deployment hub,
Yeah.
which are models that you can then still push. So if you deploy them too close to the center line, your opponent could push them back.
So defense.
Yeah, but Andy is not giving up.
He never is. But
Yeah, but his dice, I think, did.
Can change it. It's a 5.
Oh, it's fine. And I refuse the damage. It's like 2 yellow?
Right.
Yeah.
so I don't know what he's punching, but he is punching back.
It's a 12. I've the turret.
Okay, easy. Barely clicking on the point. So I infused the next shot. Did I use my silver line already? Yes. Ah, damn it. So I infused the hit.
Okay.
This.
Yep.
So going by the dice, he is activating Adamant, his alter ego, to shoot at.
Blanketed blank.
But with it.
Yeah. And I get a red and a yellow.
Then
I get you.
No, you won't, Andy. Not in this game. Sorry.
We know better.
No, not the Clint.
So activate these guys.
Could have sent the pick into him actually. No.
They were just for an action. They
So-
will heal themselves for 2.
Yeah.
By what I heard him
Then I will
talking,
attack
apparently Daniel's Weaver, the first servant, is also very low on hit points.
Yep, misses.
So it would be a valid tactic to just use a boar to stomp him down.
I do these guys and hunt him down. Hey.
The riflemen are very precise shooters, so if he really only has 1 or 2 hit points left, so this, he could take him down as well.
Both hit rolls if you used it.
I never used that before. Does it also count for crit?
Okay, Andy, the reigning Shroudfall world champion, is currently discovering new rules on
his cards.
on his cards.
So which
yes.
card was he?
The rifleman.
Attack action?
Yeah.
So, and I think they were talking about aim shot. Or, okay, so just discussing what to use. He's going to use crippling shot, which is basically if he gets to make a ranged attack outside of the action, and if he hits, the opponent gets the crippled condition, which basically means he is easier to hit. It's a +2 on all hit rolls that target these models. So this makes it easier to hit.
Infuse that one.
Spending his essence to infuse the damage rolls, they are very
Oh wow!
and,
Yeah, and he's
they were-
dead. That was a critical wound.
And I do a second shot into Clint.
Second shot.
Clint is mixed. Clint has a defense of 7, so he is
difficult to hit.
kind of hard to hit.
So that's
Okay,
3 points
so
for
that's
Andy.
3 points for Andy, yes. So basically you could reduce Daniel's lead to 4 because we are only checking the difference in victory points.
Ah, okay.
So
All right.
this makes it easier because the high numbers are hard for us. So
So it's 4.
it goes back to 4, yeah? Still, I'm
Yeah, 2.
not convinced you can come back.
Is he dead? He's 2 remaining.
Second shot, the fire shot.
So before we talked about Clint's magical guns, and apparently Daniel is using them right now.
Yep. She got it on a pick.
Oh wow, that was a good roll.
Look out, sir.
Even a critical hit, so he can apply the condition.
So stun, is it?
No, it's the hexed condition, which
so-
basically allows you when you target a unit, you can re-roll a dice of your choice, so it makes it easier and better to hit.
Okay,
The good kind of
what
dice
conditions do you have? Stun, fire?
We have multiples. We have burning, which is basically which does damage. We have crippled and shattered, which add +2 to hit or to damage rolls. What else do we have? We have frostbite, which basically says that the unit always has to use the slowest movement tool, the smallest ones, and they can't be placed or
And
pushed.
that was a handshake, I think.
It was a handshake,
Yeah.
so it must have been Daniel.
Yeah. So that Daniel has beaten the world champion Andy in the
So
stream
he's
game.
going to take his belt and next World Championship is going to be held in November or December.
Okay.
Somewhere in
I
Austria.
know you are all based in Austria, in
Yes,
Innsbruck.
Daniel and I are based in Austria.
And which
Andy,
city?
our first tester, is in Germany.
Okay.
We are just south of Vienna, so it's lower Austria. We're going to have our next event in Graz, in Styria. And I think in middle end of April, 20th and 21st, we're going to have 2 days of Shroudfall gaming in Styria at Cork, which is a bar of one of our friends, a chosen player.
Okay, so thank you once again for watching us. Sorry for the inconvenience at the beginning where you couldn't hear us. This game will be available also to watch with just players talking, so you could focus on the game once you get acquainted with the rules of Shroudfall. If you didn't see earlier, there's a link to the site, so shroudfall.com, and there's an invitation on to the Discord server.
Yes.
And I recommend you joining the Discord server. You got an early views of some new sculpts and general ideas.
Exactly.
And on the website, you can see beautiful art and scenarios and all the cards, all the rules,
everything in
everything's
the
there.
cards. So the rulebook is there, the unit card rules are there. We have STL files to print your own movement tools. So basically everything you need to test a game of Shroudfall can be found there, as long as you have a few proxy bases.
Nice.
Miniatures are also on the site and are available. But yeah, try it out, give it a try, and tell us in the Discord what you like, what you don't like,
and
how we can
tell
improve.
Bernard and Daniel on Discord what do you think, what are your opinions on the game. So yeah, once again, thank you very much for watching us. I hope you enjoyed the game. Thank you, Bernard, for joining in,
showing us.
Yeah, and see you next time. And I think we're gonna stream another game of this time Water Machine.
Does it have bears as well?
Sorry,
Does it have bears as well?
not pandas.
No.
Yeah, I'd love to.